15 wildest factory muscle cars that actually hit production. Factory muscle wasn't supposed to look like this. 7-foot wings, race engines slipped through paperwork, drag strip monsters sold with warranties. These weren't tuner builds. These were production cars that pushed limits straight off the assembly line, and some of them were barely street legal. 15. 1970 Plymouth Superbird 426 Hemi. The 1970 Plymouth Superbird 426 Hemi wasn't subtle, balanced, or polite. It was a NASCAR-era weapon forced into street legality, built so Plymouth could dominate high-speed tracks. The nose cone sliced air, the towering wings stabilized the rear, and the stance screamed intimidation before the engine even fired. Under the hood lived the legendary 426 Hemi V8, producing 425 horsepower and around 490 pound-feet of torque. Those were official numbers. Real output felt stronger. Weighing roughly 3,900 pounds, the Superbird carried serious mass. But once rolling, it felt unstoppable. With the Hemi and proper traction, it launched to 0 to 60 miles per hour in 5.3 seconds. Shocking for something shaped like a billboard. The quarter mile came in the low 13 seconds, and high-speed stability was its real weapon. Inside, the cabin felt familiar Mopar. Simple gauges, wide seating, and a long hood stretching endlessly ahead. But when the throttle dropped, the interior filled with deep mechanical thunder. The rear squatted, the nose lifted slightly, and the wings seemed to anchor everything down. American muscle usually relied on intimidation. The Superbird engineered it. Factory muscle rarely looked this outrageous, and almost never backed it up this violently. 14. 1969 Dodge Charger Daytona 426 Hemi. The 1969 Dodge Charger Daytona 426 Hemi wasn't built to look outrageous. The extended nose cone reduced drag, the towering rear wing planted the car at extreme speed, and the entire body became a high-speed weapon disguised as a production vehicle. Under the hood lived the legendary 426 Hemi V8, producing 425 horsepower and approximately 490 pound-feet of torque. Those were factory ratings, and everyone knew they were conservative. Weighing roughly 3,850 pounds, the Daytona carried serious mass, but once momentum built, it felt unstoppable. With proper traction, it blasted from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 5.2 seconds, an incredible number for a full-size muscle car. The quarter mile fell into the low 13 seconds, but straight-line acceleration wasn't the only story. High-speed stability separated it from everything else on the road. Inside, the cabin felt classic late 60s Mopar. Simple gauges, deep seats, and a long hood stretching endlessly ahead. Press the throttle and the Hemi's thunder filled the interior. The rear squatted, the nose steadied, and the wing did its job. Most muscle cars chased attention. The Daytona chased dominance. Factory production rarely looked this extreme or delivered speed this violently. 13. 1969 Chevrolet Camaro ZL1. Aluminum doesn't belong in a muscle car unless the goal is domination. The 1969 Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 wasn't built to impress crowds at dealerships. It was slipped into production through Chevrolet's Copo system, allowing a near-race spec engine to exist in a street-legal body. Only 69 were built, and every single one carried serious intent. Under the hood sat the all-aluminum 427Z L1 V8, officially rated at 430 horsepower and roughly 450 pound-feet of torque. Those numbers were famously underrated. Real output pushed much higher. Weighing approximately 3,000 pounds, the lightweight aluminum block gave it a devastating power-to-weight advantage over traditional iron big block rivals. With proper traction, it launched from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 4.8 seconds, an outrageous figure for 1969. The quarter mile could drop into the high 11s in capable hands, placing it dangerously close to full competition cars. Inside, the cabin felt deceptively simple. Standard gauges, minimal trim, and nothing flashy to warn competitors. Then the throttle dropped. The engine roared violently. The chassis twisted under torque, and acceleration came in a relentless wave. This wasn't built for comfort. This wasn't built for compromise. This was Chevrolet proving a factory muscle car could feel like a race car with plates. One of these cars almost shouldn't have been legal. 12. 1966 Shelby Cobra 427 SC. Violence doesn't always need weight. Sometimes it needs freedom. The 1966 Shelby Cobra 427 SC was barely a production car. It was a race machine detuned just enough to wear license plates. Wide fenders, side pipes, and a stance that looked permanently ready to attack. Nothing about it felt tame. Under the hood sat the monstrous 427 cubic inch Ford V8, producing 425 horsepower and roughly 480 pound-feet of torque in street trim. The power-to-weight ratio was the real weapon. Tipping the scales at just 2,355 pounds, the Cobra carried less mass than most compact cars of its era. Press the throttle and it launched from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 4.2 seconds, a number that terrified mid-60s competition. The quarter mile dipped into the low 12 seconds, and traction was always optional. Rear tires fought for survival under full throttle. Inside, there was almost nothing. Thin seats, simple gauges, exposed aluminum, and heat from the side pipes cooking the cabin. The steering felt alive. The chassis felt raw, and every input translated instantly into movement. No insulation, no safety nets. Few factory muscle cars demanded this much respect or punished hesitation this quickly. Control wasn't guaranteed, grip wasn't promised, only courage separated the driver from disaster. If factory muscle is your thing, you're in the right place. 11. 1971 Plymouth Hemi Cuda convertible. Rarity alone doesn't make a legend. Power does. The 1971 Plymouth Hemi Cuda convertible stands among the most extreme factory muscle cars ever sold. Built at the edge of the muscle era, it combined open-top cruising with one of the most feared engines Detroit ever produced. Under the hood lived the legendary 426 Hemi V8, delivering 425 horsepower and approximately 490 pound-feet of torque. Those factory numbers were conservative. Real-world performance felt even more aggressive. Weighing around 3,950 pounds, the convertible chassis added mass, yet the Hemi made sure nothing felt slow. With proper traction, it surged from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 5.1 seconds, remarkable for a full-size convertible. The quarter mile landed in the low 13 seconds, and the torque curve delivered relentless mid-range shove that overwhelmed rear tires without mercy. Inside, the cabin blended muscle and luxury. Deep bucket seats, wood grain trim, and a wide hood stretching forward endlessly. Drop the throttle, and the experience changed instantly. The engine thunder echoed through the open air. Vibrations pulsed through the steering wheel, and acceleration felt brutally honest. Few cars combined scarcity and savagery this effectively. Fewer still did it without a roof. Some machines are collected for value. Others are remembered for fear. 10. 1969 Ford Mustang Boss 429. Homologation rules created monsters, and Ford answered with this one. The 1969 Mustang Boss 429 wasn't just another Mustang trim level. It existed so Ford could legalize its massive NASCAR engine for competition. Massive shock towers were modified just to fit it, and the result was one of the most intimidating factory muscle cars ever built. Under the hood sat the legendary 429 cubic inch semi-Hemi V8, officially rated at 375 horsepower and approximately 450 pound-feet of torque. Those numbers were famously conservative. Real output felt far stronger.